Sometimes we find ourselves in conflict with someone, and the normal methods of conflict resolution won't work. We need to remember that not everyone thinks like you and me. There are people in the world that don't keep the rules that you and I grew up with. They don't operate out of the same social playbook as we do. Their reactions are irrational because when they developed their reasoning patterns, they formed them in an irrational environment. So, their chaotic, abusive, and irrational ways seem completely reasonable and justified in their view. And that can be very confusing or even distressing when trying to resolve relational and behavioral problems with someone who doesn't have the same moral compass as you do. There are people who developed in hostile, chaotic, neglectful, antisocial environments, and they never developed empathy. They'll put other people at risk, and they have no remorse for hurting other people or animals. And some even enjoy a feeling of power from causing the misery and suffering of others. Since they do not understand empathy, they view your empathy, compassion, and forgiveness as a weakness to be exploited and an opportunity to take advantage of you. Some people who developed in neglect and trauma have deep psychological needs that can't be met within themselves. So they view every relationship they have as supply that's to be exploited to meet those insatiable needs. Their relationships are destructive, unstable, and create an environment that is a playground for chaos, confusion, and emotional displacement, which is a driver of violence. They can present themselves perfectly to the public for a show, but they're a nightmare inside of a relationship. So rather than fit into society or relationships, they want society and relationships to fit into their instability and disordered thinking. They have learned how to get their needs met by deception, a sense of entitlement, grandiosity, insincerity, ragefulness, arrogance, and exploitation. They lie, cheat, gaslight, take advantage of the system. They are unkind and without empathy. And having developed a completely different reasoning process where the world exists to serve them and their insatiable needs. They'll manipulate your empathy to get you to feel sorry for them or to convince them that you owe them something. If you confront them with something hurtful that they've done, they won't take responsibility, and because then they would risk losing control. They will turn their moral outrage towards something you have done, even if it's slight, to get the attention away from them. They will shock and intimidate you by their rage, callous attitude, and actions to elicit a response of freeze or fawn. So, if you're frozen and fawning and confused and disoriented, they will have complete control. So what do you do when you're in a tangle with one of these? When you're dealing with someone with pervasive and significant antisocial traits? One thing you must remember is that you are dealing with a performance designed to elicit a response from you. They want you to respond to their manipulations by serving them and giving them your time, attention, resources, sex, and emotions. It's not a fair mutual exchange. It's a one-sided relationship designed to drain you of your resources, body, and soul. Then they'll discard you without remorse when the supply has run out. How do we respond? We respond with self-agency, remembering that we have rights, choices, and we are not obligated to go down any more rabbit holes with them. You don't have to keep playing these emotionally damaging games. Remember, you are not dealing with an adult human being who respects you and takes responsibility for their actions. So, you must individuate. You must be your own person and build a life that you love. You don't need to be controlled or abused. And you don't exist to be someone else's supply. And keep yourself in check. Do not let them needing you be your supply.